Welcome, investors and traders, to today's episode of the Unusual Option Activity brought to you by the Market Action app. Sorry, I have been missing a little bit for a while. I had some work going on at home, but I'm back and we're going to try to get back on the horse and kind of creating more and more of these videos. So today's date is May 15th, 2022. And for those who are not familiar with unusual option activity are trades that are being done in the market outside their normal trading range. At Market Action, we have an algorithm built in, and that algorithm detects trades that show outside its normal trading range and are flagged as unusual. So to learn more, feel free to join and search our app and sign up for a trial. More on that later. So let's jump in to what we have today. Before we get started, here's our quick disclaimer. This presentation is for educational purposes only, and this is not investment advice. So let's look at some of the previous unusual option activity that we had discussed in some of our older videos. I'm not going to cover a whole lot because a lot of the stuff that we covered has already expired. But some of the ones that has not expired with long-term expiration, we can get some updates on that. I think we just have one today. So here's one that we had discussed in our last video, almost last month. On 7th of April, we saw unusual option activity in XLU for $1.73 puts. We hopped onto this on the next day after kind of finding out about these, and we were actually able to enter these. Whoever entered these, they entered at 96 cents. We were actually able to enter these at 75 cents. Much lower than the original buyer. And where are these trading today? These, when we last checked, were about 83 cents, and like I said, we entered at 75 cents per contract. These traded on Friday close to $2, and even traded as high as $2.51 around open. And as the kind of market swung back, they traded a little lower. Open interest is still high, and one more interesting thing, I think the stock is now trading at XLU, the ETF is now trading at $1.71, so these are now in the money. If you're still holding it, good time to take profits or even buy it lower if it continues to go back up. Here's our chart. Remember in our last video, we kind of decided this to be kind of like the entry point on when to enter, and we have been able to ride this all the way down to 71, and you could even probably trade it, option probably trade much higher. I got out somewhere around here on this first bump as I kind of saw some volume coming in at a really good decent profit. I have one that I kind of just left and actually rolled to a different strike, which is the $1.70 strike. So it's just playing with profits at this point, but this was an amazing trade. I think we had close to double our 100 close to 150% gains on our entry. All right, so let's look at some of today's unusual option activity, and by today I mean Fridays, because I'm a little late in kind of making this video. So let's jump in. Take-Two Interactive. The gaming space has been quite a bit heating up a lot lately, and we did see some of these sweeps kind of come in, where close to 1,000 calls were bought at $7.20, and close to about 3/4 of a million, slightly 250,000 less of a million, 700,000 in option premium value that was traded. These contracts are slightly out there, so you have about 60 days to expiration. However, the premium is kind of high. We have earnings coming up as well for this name soon, so something to be wary about. Now, whoever bought these, they bought this for $7.20. The option closed on Friday's close was about $7. So, and had kind of moved up. There were multiple sweeps that were kind of coming in, and this was the one that kind of started the move to the upside. So something to really watch out for. The volume definitely much above open interest, and a decent amount of time to expiration to kind of ride these out. However, you will see some premium decay accelerate right after earnings, so keep that in mind and not to hold these for too long. Looking at the stock chart, the alpha has kind of given a buy signal, and this buy signal, we're looking at the hourly chart here. As you can see, earnings coming up as well. There's a slight gap here above the current close, so around about, I think about $113. So something to kind of be aware of as well. Price action tends to reject sometimes when the gaps are closed, or it could just overshoot that with the earnings. So something to keep in mind. However, currently we have a buy signal. It seems like a nice bit of a flag formation on a downtrend. So once again, that's something to be careful for. Earnings are always risky. But I did like this activity. Seems like somebody knows something. Something to keep in mind and kind of play. And you don't necessarily have to play the same option contract. You can actually play this as a vertical to kind of reduce your cost basis, where you would buy the 115s and you would sell the 118s against it to kind of reduce your cost basis, as well as help you with decay. Another one that we saw that I kind of alerted in our Discord as well is American Airlines. We saw a lot of call buying for $1.18 calls. And these were coming in around like 50 cents per contract. As you can see, the stock actually closed higher at 73. However, it's still kind of away from the money. You can see volume and open interest not really much above, but the activity was very bullish, and these came in once again. It's unusual in our app. And these are fairly cheap options to trade as well. So as you can see, we do have a buy signal with a gap below the market and a gap above the market. I'm going to writing this buy signal right now along with this option activity to see if we can kind of hit that gap before we kind of reward in price in terms of bullish action. So something to be careful of. And chances are we might even be able to kind of do an inverse head and shoulder where we kind of retest this gap and then kind of shoot to the upside. So something to keep in mind. There are not a lot of days left for expiration. Actually, there are. It's almost close to a month. So, hey, you have some time on these. And we actually saw activity on these for $1.17, $1.18, $1.20. So a lot of upside call buying going on in American Airlines. And I love travel sector right now. It's the one of the better category of stocks to trade in this downturn. Travel is coming back in full swing, and the strong dollar is also helping that as well, where people are trying to book trips to Europe, where the euro dollar is weaker, so you can get a better deal right now if you're based in the U.S. Be it Canada, be it Europe, be it Australia, everything is kind of weak against the dollar right now. And speaking of dollar, remember we started this series. This is our today's $1 or less unusual option activity that you could trade. And the reason we created it once again is you don't need to risk a lot when trying to trade unusual option activity. You can start for something as low as $1. Now, for those who are new, $1 necessarily does not mean $1. It actually means $1 times the number of shares that you control. So $1 option contract is actually worth $100. It's a little weird how that plays out, but that's just how it is. So as I said, I'll try my best and find you option activity that's less than $1. So let's see what we have here today. So NKLA. So this one we actually alerted our Discord as well, and was already up like 30 to 40% from our entry when we entered these. We saw a lot of call buying for NKLA $8 option contracts. Once again, there is a gap to the upside with a lot of stocks during the sell-off that had happened. So we're kind of in a nice bear market rally type of mode, or even some would even call it a bottom. I am going to stop shy of calling it a bottom and just call it a bear market rally until proven otherwise. So as you can see, a lot of volume. We saw a lot of these trade in come in multiple sweeps for the $8 option contract. You can see the volume really clearly exceeds open interest. If you were able to get these at entry, you made 100%. If you were able to kind of follow this option activity, you're still green, and you can continue to hold these as you have about 35 days to expiration. And I think there was news around EVs as well, as George Soros, a big investment firm, takes positions in Rivian. I'm not sure if NKLA was there, Lucid, and among other names. So EVs are the EVs that are not Tesla are kind of hot and really oversold, and people are liking that. And looking at the stock as well, this closed at around 6, so these are for $8 strikes. So someone's kind of expecting a bit of a weak recovery on this in the last few days after earnings. As you can see, we're trying to hit that $8. There is a slight gap above the market. We're not too far from the gap, but that acts gaps do tend to act as price magnets, and that will be a good place to kind of trim your positions or roll out using profits, where you kind of make this a free play if this continues to go higher. And that's about it. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to download our free mobile app to help you learn more about unusual option activity. And you can also sign up for a free trial to browse the app to help you discover these trades that we just went over on your own. You can also visit marketaction.live. We have the mobile app as well. We have the desktop app where you can do a very array of filters and even analysis for a stock to see how the option activity has been historically. You can't just cram all that information on a small mobile screen. So with our subscription, you get a mobile app. You also get a desktop app. Another one for those who like trading price momentum and price action. We do have our algo live as well, and we have a promotion going on, really cheap to kind of get some feedback and some early testers in for this algo. As you can see, I kind of do our charts based on these algo as well, so you can visit marketaction.live/algo to check it out. This algo is built for TradingView platform. And once again, I'm just going to take a pause here. Make sure you, wherever you're seeing this video, be it YouTube, be it Twitch, be it Twitter, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow us to help our video show up higher in whatever algorithms that are there based on engagement. So please like and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, click the notifications, the bell icon, to be notified when we create more videos in the future. And as always, I appreciate if you have any comments. Please feel free to put some comments or questions and even provide feedback about the format of our episodes. Thanks again, and have a good week. We'll see you in the next trading week or Monday. Take care and trade responsibly.